This was one of the craziest off seasons of college football that I can remember. Not only was the transfer portal nuts, we had a bunch of conference realignment. There was so much that happened over the course of the past year, it might be tough to remember who is where now. Well, today we're going to be taking a look back at all the schools that transferred to new conferences and how things are looking for the 2024 season. Before we get to today's video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you're watching this video, odds are you love college football, and odds are you aren't subscribed to my channel, so make sure to subscribe to one of the best college football communities here on YouTube. Overall, there are 15 programs that moved to new conferences. That's mainly because of the Pac-12 completely falling apart, but there was some other movement as well. We'll begin in the ACC, where they added 3 new teams. They added Cal and Stanford from the Pac-12, along with SMU, who came over from the American Conference. I think all of the conference realignment this offseason was dumb, but this conference, especially by adding Cal and Stanford, might have been the worst. They're all the way on the other side of the country. I mean, just look at this map. Look how stupid this looks. They also have 17 teams now in the ACC, which doesn't make any sense and is dumb. They might as well just add another random team to at least get them to 18. For Stanford, they've been in the Pac-12 since 1968, back when it was known as the Pac-8. Prior to that, they were in the Athletic Association of Western Universities Conference from 1959 through 1967. Prior to that, they were in the Pacific Coast Conference from 1918 through 1958. The same exact history goes for Cal. They were with Stanford in those conferences all those years. The only difference is that they joined the PCC in 1916, 2 years before Stanford did. Meanwhile, switching conferences isn't new for SMU, as they've done it a lot recently. They were in the American Conference from 2013 through 2023. Prior to that, they were in Conference USA from 2005 through 2012. Prior to that, they were in the WAC from 1996 through 2004. But majority of SMU's history came in the Southwest Conference, where they played from 1918 through 1995. Alright, moving on to the Big Ten, or should I say the Big 18, as they added 4 teams this offseason, giving them the biggest conference in all of college football. They added USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington from the Pac-12. USC, UCLA, and Washington have the same exact history as both Cal and Stanford did, as they each played in the Pac-8 back in the day, the Pacific Coast Conference, and the Athletic Association of Western Universities. Oregon has the same history as well, but they were actually independent for a brief stretch from 1959 through 1963. The Big 12 had the most movement this offseason, as they added 4 teams, but also lost 2 teams as well. They are now at 16 schools, as they added Arizona State, Arizona, Utah, and Colorado. And as a reminder, they also lost Oklahoma and Texas. Colorado returns to the Big 12, where they were there from 1948 through 2010. When they first joined, the conference was known as the Big 7. Prior to that, they played in the Mountain States Athletic Conference from 1938 through 1947, and were in the Rocky Mountain Conference from 1910 through 1937. Prior to joining the Pac-12, Utah was in the Mountain West from 1999 through 2010. Before that, they were in the WAC from 1962 through 1998. From 1948 through 1961, they were actually in a conference that I had never heard of, in the Skyline Conference. Then prior to that, they were in the Mountain States Athletic Conference and the Rocky Mountain Conference. Arizona State was in the Pac-12 going back to 1978. Prior to that, they were in the WAC from 1962 through 1977. Prior to that, they were in the Border Intercollegiate Athletic Association, another conference I had never heard of. They were there from 1931 through 1961. And the same exact thing goes for Arizona, as they were in all those conferences with Arizona State at the exact same time. Oklahoma and Texas leaving the Big 12 is massive. Oklahoma's been there since it was the Big 6, all the way back in 1928. I mean, they were in this conference for almost 100 years. Prior to that, they were in the Missouri Valley Intercollegiate Athletic Association and the Southwest Conference. Texas doesn't quite have the history that Oklahoma does in that conference, as they've only been in the Big 12 since 1996. Prior to that, they were in the Southwest Conference from 1915 through 1995. Both of those teams moved to the SEC, giving that conference 16 teams now. But those are the only 2 additions that the SEC made this offseason. I know we talked about the Pac-12 completely falling apart, but technically it is still alive. Both Washington State and Oregon State still remain, and although there are only 2 teams, they're still technically in the Pac-12. I mentioned earlier how SMU left the American Conference. Well, they got a replacement with Army, so the American Conference still remains at 14 teams. Army has been independent since 2005. Prior to that, they were in Conference USA from 1998 through 2004. But before that, they were independent going back all the way to 1891. Conference USA added a team in Kennesaw State, who made the jump up to the FBS level. They've had quite the rise, as they only began football a decade ago in 2015. They began in the Big South Conference in the FCS. Then in 2022, they joined the ASUN Conference, and in 2023, they were independent. While the Mountain West technically remains untouched, they are kinda adding Oregon State and Washington State to their conference, though not officially. The conference is going to play a combined 15 games this season against those 2 schools, so while they remain in the Pac-12, they're playing a lot of Mountain West teams this year, so you might as well include Oregon State and Washington State in the Mountain West. Well, that wraps it up for all of the conference realignment. Which new program do you think is going to thrive in their brand new conference? Also, which team in their new conference do you think is the dumbest? Do you think it's Stanford and Cal being in California and being in the same conference as teams in Florida? Or do you think it's Texas and Oklahoma going to the SEC? Or maybe you're still like me and you're completely heartbroken and upset that the fact that the Pac-12 no longer exists. Whatever your thoughts are on all the conference realignment, let me know in the comment section down below. Before you leave, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. I'm going to be posting college football videos every day during the season, so make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. If you're a college football fan, this is definitely the place for you. Also, don't forget to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that confusing YouTube algorithm, and it helps share the video and my channel with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you all in my next video.